Okay, I'd like to open the county government meeting today. First up today is human resources.
Winner.
You got to name it first.
Trivial things to ask for this month. So as you certainly know, as corporate compliance officer for the county, I apologize. I didn't realize though that every year I need to redo the charter, even if it's the same members, I'm required. So I apologize that it's coming through today. But so it's just assigning the same corporate compliance committee with the exception of Mr. Ambrose. Joey Brooks retired from our Department of Human Services. So Melissa Costa Sheriff took his place. So she's added.
Move it. Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Vote carried.
Second, is it?
Yeah, I just have to scroll through there. There you go.
No. So second is the same, the 2417A.
Move it.
When, oh, thank you. Second.
All in
There's
favor?
like 5 pages next to it. That's it. Cool.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hold on.
Up to planning.
We're a wild bunch tonight. He's getting to us. Oh, hold on.
Bye. Okay, I have one resolution, it's authorization to appoint a member to the Climate Smart Cities Task Force. It's Jennifer Phillips representing Claremont.
I'll move it.
All in favor? Vote carried.
There's just 3 other openings, the Skeleton, Hudson, and the Village of Cuba, so.
Next one.
I'm sorry, thank you, Gallatin, Hudson, and the Village.
Village.
I'm Gallatin. Oh. The Climate Smart Cities Task Force. Okay. We have, yes. Okay, so you have a budget for Gallatin. Yes. Okay, I will confirm. Great, thank you.
Okay, next up is real property. Yeah, community.
Afternoon.
New face. Hi, I'm Mark.
Mark.
Nice to meet you. All right, so I have just one thing to ask for today. We have an authorization on the floor to fill one data collector real property tax service aid position in my agency. So this feels like deja vu. We filled this position several months ago, and unfortunately, the gentleman that still took the position was offered a higher paying position in the state government. And only stayed for 3 days. So interviews have been conducted. I was granted an emergency fill order for this position. And made it through point 1. It's it's a budgeted position.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Just a couple updates on reassessment projects. We do have contracts completed for Chatham and Canaan. We also have Gallatin we're working with. That's all taken care of. We have Fabric, your entering is in the process right now. And our goal is to have all the entering done by the end of July. So the inventory notices can be sent out and verified, and then we'll hopefully get the file up to the contractor on the allotted schedule for that.
It'll be done this year or next year? I thought it was going to be done next year.
Yeah, but we have to get the file to there's a lot of stuff that happens in between now and next year. So the inventory notices are going to be going out in June, mid-June. Well, actually, I'm sorry, no, mid-July, the inventory notices will be going out. And then once they have a month to respond to them to make sure that all the inventory is accurate. And then we'll get the file to the contractor to do the valuation. And then they'll have the file back to your assessor in January for her review. And then there'll be inspections and then tentative roll time before you know it. So there's a lot of that happens in between. We have to do also up in the air if we have to do disclosure notices or not. We're looking into the real property tax law on that because of the differences in equalization rate. We believe you will have to do disclosure notices, which will put in basically an estimated tax amount that have to go out in February.
What's the threshold for disclosure notice?
If you have an equalization rate lower than 85%.
So we don't owe you a check this year. That's the most important part.
Well,
Here we go. I know.
there,
That's
we,
fine.
with
Whatever.
any project, we split it out. a
Split
little
it up, yeah.
bit. So I have to look at what's.
Mark, don't worry about it.
anything.
Just kidding.
But it's in July, yeah, so it's not right now. The SDG site, as a lot of people knew, was officially retired. It was done abruptly, before we were anticipating it being done, so without notice. So the pros site has been launched. It is a work in progress. It's come a long way since we initially launched it. It's pretty much ironed out, except for the fact that we're still working with the planning department and GAR to establish the GIS site. Currently, we're using the planning department's GIS site linked to it, but we do anticipate that we will have our we are anticipating it. We have a meeting next week, either the end of this week or next week with GAR and Esri, and we're expecting that after that meeting that before the end of the next week we'll have something out there. We have, as I said, we conduct interviews for the data collector tax service aid position. I have 4 applicants and one person that, one other candidate one from the previous pool, the one we reconsidered. And then I have 4 people signed up to take the deputy director of civil service exam. That's being offered in June.
Anybody for this job?
4 applicants and one from the previous pool. So interviews have already been completed. I was talking with Michael before I came. I believe I have a final candidate selected, but I'll be looking at notifications tomorrow and everything that needs to be wrapped up there. And the anticipated start date for that would be June 15th.
You don't happen to have a list of equalization rates, do you?
I don't, not with me. I can definitely forward that out to everybody. We did, so at this point in time, they're not equalization rates yet, they're LOAs, levels of assessment. They don't become deemed final equalization rates until later in the year. But we do have all the LOAs for the county. And we just had to do those because we present them at the Board of Assessment Review training. So we have a straightforward sheet that we can send out to
Do
everybody.
you mind sending that? So we can all-
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You can forward it to me if you want, or I
Okay.
can send it. It's up to you.
Yeah, and I can also make sure it gets on the website. Usually about this time is when it gets posted anyway. So in between now and final rule.
Mark, quick question on the GIS stuff. I do look forward to the new program being there. In using the planning, it does seem to me that I was assuming that they were using your most recent data on parcel lines, but it seems like some of them are inaccurate. I can't no longer get to SDG, but it seems to me like some of them are not as up to date as they were in your program.
Don't necessarily want to speak for another department.
Right.
But, I can say that at the beginning of this week, they launched, they've uploaded our 2026 shape files, so they
Okay.
should be the most accurate ones there.
Okay.
And they have,
Thought there was some discrepancies, but yeah,
they have fixed the link between, so now from their site, their map, you can click on the link and it'll take you to the pros site for that property. So they have established that.
oh,
link.
okay, yeah, that was
So it's-
working last week or something.
Yeah, so they just launched the new site on Monday.
Okay.
And there is a new link on our pro site to the new one with the updated shape
Okay.
files and the new links. So it's relatively fresh. I wasn't in the office on Monday and when I got in Tuesday, I saw that it was taken
Okay.
care of. So.
Thank you.
So how many of our other interior departments rely on shape files? I know that the short-term rental occupancy tax relies on the shape files. Do we know how many other departments rely on them?
When this was a little, I don't believe we were exactly aware of the link that the short-term rentals had with our site. But they didn't necessarily don't rely on us providing them shape files. They were using our SDG site and the built-in functionality of it. I don't think they were utilized, like for planning department, we actually provide them the shape file to
We
put
did that for-
into.
we did that for the occupancy tax as
You
well.
did that as well?
That was
Okay.
before you though, but we did.
Okay.
So we probably need to update that.
Yes, so
Our building inspector uses them a lot and, gotten
Yes, so
through.
we provided your building department with actual shape files, because you have your own system that you can update. That's separate from, some departments just utilize our site and a link to it, but you have your own separate thing.
So I think we use the same program and we get the stuff from you, or that it works with that program. What's the name of that program now?
Is that the same one that History uses? She's been, her building runs.
Should, oh,
We got it, and I can't think of the name of it. We got it like 2 years ago, and then since then, everybody's
Yeah.
talked to our building inspector. It's a really nice program.
and we switched over to it. They're a little overzealous, so they want to sell you a new program every week. Expansion, something.
What it allowed us to do is, folks can go on and do their own building permit.
Right.
Pay. So it's a really nice.
Oh, wow.
Program.
Offline conversation.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So just to give you a timeline on shape files, they become official basically in June, July, basically the roll. But we are going to start rolling out shape files on a quarterly basis, at least on our own site, to keep it more up to date. So people that are filing subdivision maps will at least see the line changes happening, even though they're not necessarily official yet on the roll.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, veterans.
For your.
For him, for the day of election.
How is everybody?
Hello, Rachel.
This is my deputy director of Jones Junior.
Hello.
And I was able to make it. All right, so the first thing we got is a resolution for per diem driver.
Is actually, you're creating a pool of
Yes,
per
requesting,
diem.
Yep, authorization for myself to create a pool of per diem drivers. Our current per diem driver is resigning effective this coming Friday. It is in my budget and that is what I'm asking for.
Move it.
Second.
In favor.
Just
Opposed?
a question, but we can go ahead and vote, but my question is about insurance. Are these, are they covered in the same way? How are they covered?
They don't have,
They don't have health insurance.
No, I mean,
That's
I'm thinking about liability insurance, car, if you're.
Yeah, they'd
driving.
be covered under the
So they're
policy.
employees.
They're- yeah.
It's just a
That's-
pool.
What she's doing is creating a pool so she doesn't have to keep coming back to fill a position if per diem leaves.
right,
She can have three, like I have 3 front desk people.
Right.
So they can rotate if they want, or they can, but as long as she stays within our budget of 10,000.
It's just a new term.
Yeah.
So I was trying to understand.
Yeah.
Why they were short.
Yeah.
I think we said all in favor, yes.
We kept going right now.
Okay. I use people talking.
That's fine.
next thing is, the resolution for the lease. We are established at our location for over 5 years now. It's worked very conveniently for what we do there. The Dwyer room is used for monthly luncheons, coffee hour, and we actually have other agencies that use that room as well for their meetings and whatnot. So I know you guys have to go through the police.
Is the room efficient for what you need, or is it getting crowded?
It is getting crowded, which is a good thing.
Well, it's a
But,
good thing, but
yeah.
if you need more room, we should know in advance. That's what I'm just saying. If you have, something got to come, we got to look somewhere.
Right.
Do something down the road. Just
There-
give us-
there
Let
might
us
be-
know in advance before you come here and say, by the way,
Right?
you got people out in the street. you know?
Yeah.
Are they keeping up with your maintenance items?
They're working on it.
Okay.
There's actually 4 units, right? Is
Yeah.
it 4? Yeah.
So I have some questions, but I'm gonna fold those into the attorney's questions, because they're more about these terms.
Yeah, we do need to, I assume if we make a recommendation, this needs to move to the county attorney for questions anyway, right? I mean, there's some.
This is my
Language.
first time presenting.
That's fine, no. I had spoke to Rachel earlier today on just the whole space occupant, space utilization questions on the idea of keeping an eye on if we were gonna do something different, you know, should we have a better location, not a better location, but a cheaper location for this? And I do agree that building works very well for them right now, but, you know, some years ago, we were talking about building a new office at the Aged Building out at the Commerce Park, and we were gonna take that department and put it in there. Things like that, you know, we're talking about this building and where do we go in the future? What do we do? So I certainly, you know, would just make a recommendation to keep this to a 1-year lease so that we can keep our options open. And to Brenda's point, there is some legal questions in the lease that I think our attorney would need to answer and clean that up. They may want to have their own language in it, but that's fine, you know. But yeah, I want to see you stay there. So, you know, I'm happy to move forward with, you know, a 1-year lease, but having Rob look at some things and answer some questions to it.
So that's your motion?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a motion?
Need a motion?
He
I
made a
did make it.
motion.
That was a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Next thing is the veteran stand down. Between Greene County, it was hosted by Greene County and Columbia County. I would say there were probably over 1,000 veterans there. And we've been hearing great feedback. Do you have anything to add on this?
It was a really good stand down. Got to talk to a lot of people, a lot of connections. That was great.
We actually had someone from the state, saying that it was the best stand down that they've been to.
Awesome, good job. The only comment I had heard from one of the veterans that I know is actually a cousin of mine, but he reached out and said, why can't we have it in Columbia County?
And I know exactly.
You know, and I said, I'll talk to Rachel about it. If there's ever a time we can schedule another one and you're looking for a place, reach out and we'll try and find something.
That's
But I,
my,
you know,
my next option, I think, for next year would be to have it somewhere in Columbia County.
right, but if you're looking for spots, talk to me. We can talk about that.
Okay.
Is it like an outdoor event, like the fairgrounds
Well,
or
and I,
something
was
like
some
that?
questions. I didn't know how much room they needed and just what the facility needs were, but you know, we can talk about that. Rachel knows what they had and what they
Right.
used over there, and that all worked. But you know, but yeah, that was the only. I mean, her it was a good thing, but I just
So did it originate there? Is that why it was in Greene County?
they did it with Greene County, right?
Yeah,
So,
the idea came up because they have a roundtable meeting, I think monthly, and they had talked about a stand down. I know Gary had one in Oneonta. They've been in Colony, I think, and different places, so they talked about doing one, and then they figure, why not include us
So it could
with
be all
Columbia
different.
County?
Okay, that'd be great. 1,000 people, is a lot of parking.
that's,
That is.
yeah, no, I'm
Dutchman's Landing was where the parking was.
not sure where we would go with this, but I just thought,
Yeah,
you know,
1,000 is a lot.
we can explore it.
All right, the next thing is the food pantry. We've been super busy down there, and we actually had 8 veterans just Tuesday morning. Which is a lot for just one morning, but and we'll also have summer hours from after Memorial Day. We're gonna go from 10 to 1, Monday through Friday.
And are you busy in terms of people picking up or people dropping off or both?
So,
And your main source of supplies for the food pantry is,
donation,
okay,
run by donation.
still donations? Okay.
Yep.
Staffed by volunteers for the most part.
Yep, volunteers and, widows and veterans themselves.
Rachel, you have enough food coming in? Or could you use more?
I can check with Patsy. I always check with Patsy because she should know, she can know on it, like I've said before, it's week to week basis, it
Yeah,
could change.
yeah.
So it depends, so I can check with her.
Okay,
Are you still over?
Huh?
Are you still overloaded in?
well,
Okay.
yeah, there's times we got more than next, you know, and I don't wanna lose it if we
Right.
can. I mean, if we got extra we can give away, we'll definitely do it, especially the veterans.
We have more of like more freezer stuff or shelf
We
stuff.
have both. Both, we have both, so.
Yeah, reach out.
Plenty,
to Bob.
sometimes it's busy and it's, but we never run out, let's put it that way, we have plenty, and we can put in for more, that's what I'm saying, we can actually put in for more. The budget to cover that, so it's not an issue, so. So if you need help, just let us know.
Okay. And the Flag Day parade, we're gonna have a float in the parade, and widows and volunteers are going to be but on the float and walking, I probably too. Grand Marshal, I'm honored to be asked to be one of the Grand Marshals in the Flag Day Parade.
Nice.
You know. Joanne is going to be working 2 days a week. She was working 3. So she's just gonna go down to 2 days a week, and at this time, we're not filling positions, so I don't have to do any paperwork for that yet. That's needed. Last thing is the landlord visit and building repairs. We had the landlord's daughter visit and walk through the building and address any repairs and any concerns we have with the building. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, we're still waiting on them to clean some of they can't clean the vents, the heating and AC units. But the suctions for them are clogged, not very nice. They look disgusting. We're just hoping that, they fix that. And the other part with the driveway repairs is pretty, we complain about the driveway repairs. So the guy brought concrete again and filled the holes in concrete in this blacktop. And I'm like, it's not going to stay. I said, I used to work in Colorado, so this breaks up every year. That popped out, breaks up. I'm like, they need to grade this down and actually repave it. But that's on, I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't.
So, those are good things for us to know about. And Rachel mentioned the, HVAC ducts and things like that, but some of that should be requirements in the lease. So, if we have some details like that, please forward them to us and we'll work with Rob to see if she can put those in there. The lease is all written from the landlord now, that's their job, but
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
we have a side too. So,
That'd be great.
Population that could have lung or other susceptibilities.
Probably everybody that comes in.
Yeah.
So they did check the ventilation systems and they can't clean them because of whatever type of material up in there. So I actually followed up on that to make sure what she was saying was true. It sounds like I don't really think anything. Anyway.
Well, you're talking about duct cleaning. I think all it really needs is a vacuum
Yeah.
cleaner,
Right.
oil
So
cleaner,
they're particular ones you can't do that because of the material that's in it.
Black stuff,
So
right,
if
yeah.
there's black, well, one of the things I called another friend of mine who does this stuff, he's like, if there's black mold though, they have to repair it all.
Right.
So we can't tell if there's black mold or any mold at all there, we just look at the suctions.
Don't they usually have a brush for that you run down the vents?
Yeah, you can't do that with that particular system. Yeah, it's a unique system. It's an older system that has this, I don't know, you'd have to read what she wrote. Why they can't clean it out. And I did follow up with the company and they did explain why they can't. So I was like, okay, I get it. But at least the suctions and a few of the other things could be cleaned out.
Right.
And that's what, and then also them changing out filters more often like they're supposed to should happen. I was even telling Rachel, like, even a fresh coat of paint in here would be probably, freshen up a little bit because I don't think it's ever been painted since we were there. Or she was there. I mean, I'm new to all this and I'm just looking at it, oh my gosh, just look better if we could do little things, even rugs in their area. It'll look really much nicer. It's just, you have old rugs and it seems in them. It's like a professional place of veterans coming in now and we're conducting business. Just it looks a little more appealing, a little nicer.
We're saying good ranks.
Yeah.
Provide me any of those answers that you can, and we'll.
Yeah, we were joking around, Joanne and Patsy and us, we were joking around like, maybe we shouldn't pay any rent until all this stuff is fixed.
There's a legal way to approach that. Yeah. It needs to be in the contract. though.
Even outside of the tripping hazards, always possible.
Well, there's,
Problems with
yeah,
that.
and in the, walking into the food pantry, there's a lip on
Yeah.
that they can't do anything about, which had people falling in there. They painted it yellow now, which is fine, so hopefully that'll work, but that's, hopefully nobody's gotten hurt, but that's the only place they fall.
Are the rugs you're talking about loose rugs or is it wall-to-wall carpet?
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall in the rooms, it's on loose rugs
That's
in
a
the
building
hallway.
issue as well.
Yeah, loose rugs in the hallway, which she said they're gonna replace,
Right.
cause
She walked in and said, it was disgusting. That's what we were saying. And like, it's pretty nasty. But the rooms aren't that large where it would be a huge cost to
Right.
replace the rugs. It'd be fine to do it.
They are middle bits.
Yeah. You rip it up, put one down, so, yeah, our hotels are great.
That's what we have all around here. Yeah.
I believe it is it. Do you have anything?
Sounds like good. Thank you.
No, not yet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Fair housing is next. Yep.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Have a good holiday. Memorial Day weekend. Yes. Bye.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I came with a handful of stuff here. for you. Okay, just to get started, it's good to see all of you, by the way. April is really a great month for fair housing. I certainly enjoy it very much. During the year, I'm really looking into a lot of housing situations and trying to direct the tenants in the right direction to solve their problems and so forth. But on Fair Housing Month, I get to receive the proclamation from the board on behalf of the community, and that's always a great time. And I do take an opportunity whenever I can to let the public know that, the Board of Supervisors certainly supports fair housing to the 10th degree. So I do appreciate that. And the landlord tenants rights form, actually, if for those of you who don't have a residential tenants rights guide, I'm going to pass that around. Not pass it around, you're welcome to keep a copy of it. And pretty much everything in that guide, we do try to get out to the public during the landlord tenants rights forum. We talk about all of the things that the real property law protects the tenants with regard to and so forth. So you're all welcome to keep a copy of that. And so the tenants rights form, we did have that, and we had some really good guests. We had the managing director from managing attorney from legal aid there, and we had the new Hudson, code enforcement officer there, Nick Fox, and who gave us a pretty good update on what he was doing, and could answer any questions about his position and so forth. We always try to have somebody there from renters, to speak of renters insurance. Get a lot of calls on that, and matter of fact, that there is oftentimes a lot of loss of personal property because people do not have renters insurance. And believe it or not, I got a call from one of the property owners, landlords, who had a tenant who fell, and she received a letter from the attorney of the person that had fallen, and the letter said for the landlord to check with their fire and extended coverage people, and it turned out that she had no insurance. She had let that expire. So chances of her being sued or whatever, there's a good possibility of that. So we try to have somebody there to explain, and Kurt Neller was there from the Neller Insurance Agency, and he explained tenants' rights. I was surprised too, because we get into reasonable accommodations or modifications later where landlords have to make certain provisions for tenants with disabilities. And I understand now there is insurance coverage for that. Let's say someone has to do a landlord has to do a tub cut or do some other modification like lower kitchen cabinets, which are all required by fair housing to make these reasonable accommodations. They have now underwriters that will provide coverage for those reasonable accommodations. So And of course, I've said this many times before, but the fair housing poster contest and the award presentation is gonna be the most fun part of my job. I really do have a lot of fun with that. And, this was our program this year. And before I get started on that, I'd like to say that the volunteers that I have on my housing advisory board are just marvelous. They do so much for me. A lot of this is their work, but they make up this, very creative. They make up this program here that you can pass around, and that is it's a great help to me to get that done, believe it or not. And also, each student, each participant, not just the winners, all get a copy of this fair housing little coloring sheet. As you may know, this is open to third and fourth graders, so things that we try to do and the presentation that we have on fair housing, we hope to make age appropriate to these children. But that brochure is it is a coloring page, but also on the back it explains what all the rights are of fair housing. I particularly got into I explained all the aspects of fair housing, but I wanted to get into the protection under familiar status, because that can relate to families with children under 18, and certainly our age group that was under 18. But this is a protection for them. There can't be any discrimination against, let's say, a family that has children under 18. So if you ever see an ad that says we don't accept children, that's going to be legal. This is also done by our volunteer. He put this together for us. We have all the pictures of the posters in here that the kids drew up, and I pass that around. And there are some pictures of more posters in here, and also a little bit of me giving my presentation, which you can skip those. But this is all the picture of all the winners here. And I'll tell you, it was a jubilant time. This year we gave first, second, and third prizes to our winners in third and fourth grade. And we had, the posters were so good that we had 2 honorable mentions in each category. And then we did a people's choice. People could vote on, a poster for the kids. So actually we gave out 11 prizes. I want to thank the county for providing the art sets. We gave away 11 art sets, actually 12, because I gave one to the winning teacher. So, but these art sets are 80-piece art sets, and they all had at least, or they were also equipped with sketchbooks for the kids to do the sketching. So that, I really have a great time with this, because the kids are so receptive, and we had family members there that totaled about 50. We had
Nice.
50 family members there representing these students, and it was just really a great time for everybody. Everybody, whether they win or not, they get a participation certificate like this, framed. And so that's part of our fair housing poster contest. We also make a great punch. It's a raspberry fruit punch, and we have that, and we have cookies for the kids, and actually the adults are entitled to get that as well, and enjoy the punch. So, like I say, it's really a fun time. I can't wait to get busy on it next year. And actually, we have to start in November to get the information out to the schools. And then once we do the judging on the posters, then it's sort of a real race to get out everything to the teachers and to the kids, the winners and everything. So we do get started on that about November of this year. And then we'll certainly have the everything in place to have the poster contest, awards presentation and so forth. So it's really a great time. On a more serious note, I put some updates together on Section 8. You can see things are not looking good there. You know, I think most of the research I do now, instead of saying 3 to 5 years or something waiting period, they use the word several years now. So, you know, things are not good when it comes to fair housing. You can see that, you know, the HCR that handles that out of New York State and the Auspice City Attorney General's office, they're closed to new applications and only open periodically. So that's what we're dealing with on Section 8. As an afterthought, I wanted to see, because, you know, the demand there, the demand for HAP assistance, which is housing assistance payments, outdoors does the amount of money that the Fed can come up with. So there's always a problem there. More demand than money. But so then I got to thinking, it would be good to know how many people in our city of Hudson and our county actually are rent burdened, which means they're paying 30% more of their gross income for rent and utilities. And then we have people who are severely rent burdened, which means that they are paying more than 50% of the income. So I was able to go to the U.S. Census for 2024, and based on some figures that were released in 2025, I came up with some percentages, and using those percentages and applying them to the number of renters we have both in the county and in the city, I was able to come up with some figures that are not in this, but I'd like to share them with you folks. You'll see that these numbers are quite staggering, both as to those that are rent burdened in our county and severely rent burdened in our county, and rent burdened in our city and severely rent burdened in our city of Hudson. So I'll just, I hope that there might not be enough, but if you want to pass this around. Like I say, this was an afterthought after I looked at these Section 8 things. I thought this would be a good thing to add to it. So just for your information.
If you look at the pattern, the progress.
Just gonna say, I think all this is there. I'm sorry.
Quarterly housing report.
Pardon me?
You get the pattern for progress quarterly housing.
I don't know.
I'm gonna put you on the list.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you.
They've really done a good job of calculating.
Yeah,
this,
well, like
capturing
I
it
say,
for
they
the
may
county.
have done these
Yeah.
figures and put them together, but I think these would probably reflect approximate figures anyway. Ballpark figures,
And
so.
they'll give you a little bit more of a frame, like part of the attribution of these numbers is that the low inventory of rental properties. So there's no place for rents to go but out because
That I find
no
all the
inventory.
time, and we have to watch sometimes too, because there's such a thing as, you know, and probably heard, that there's such a thing as income discrimination. And income discrimination means that rents can be priced out of the fair market rent to discourage Section 8 people from applying. And in cases like that, they have every right to apply to the New York State Division of Human Rights. Because rent or income discrimination is illegal. I hear sometimes, well, we don't accept Section 8. I tell them, landlord can't say that, you know. I don't know why a landlord wouldn't consider it, because 70% of their rent is going to be guaranteed.
Well, I think the answer that we used to get, and I don't know if we still get it, is that because you have to qualify to be a Section 8 housing provider, you have to be willing to submit your rental property.
Yeah,
Just
for inspection.
I think the court case just said that you did not have to.
Or is that, I didn't see that. But I know that has discouraged landlords.
Right. Or they do make an annual inspection, yearly, and annual, yearly, well, annual. But, so they do require that, but, I see oftentimes though that, you know, the warranty of habitability comes into play there because, you know, there are a number of violations or complaints that are possibly not, or maybe ignored by the landlords as well.
The last time I looked at the inspection checklist, it was well within the range of habitability. It was not a homeless check. But it was still a barrier for some people. And probably for the reason you cite.
Pardon me?
Probably for the reasons you've identified.
Well, I do get a lot of calls on warranty of habitability. What you can see there is some of the types of housing calls that I've gotten. As a matter of fact, under a reasonable accommodation, I got a call from an individual who had a service animal and he had two emotional support animals. And he lived in a place for 9 years, never any question about it. One of his animals passed recently, died recently. One of his emotional support animals died recently, and he is applying to have that emotional support animal replaced, and right now is in conflict with the landlord on it. And so it's been actually a battle. Well, I think 9 years since he had his last letter from, you know, someone who could, let's say, a provider of health that could approve that. So I said, if you get a new one, then we would see what we do. Actually, the emotional support animals, the fair housing is very, very liberal. I mean, you could have a turtle as an emotional animal. In this case, it was two cats. And so he's even more, feeling more emotional about having lost that cat and now not being able to replace it. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. But, so, I mean, you can see the kind of calls I get, and usually I, you know, will try to quote the real property law that actually covers their particular situation. And if we don't get anywhere, you know, then it's a complaint filed to the Attorney General's office or to the Division of Human Rights. Tell them often to call a code enforcement on things that seem to be violations of the warranty habitability stuff.
Is Hudson still the only municipality that requires an inspection in between renters?
The only one I know is Belmont.
I do believe Village of Alicia required, but yeah, they used to. And you know that town, years ago, they started doing that, and I don't know if they still keep it up.
Philmont,
In between tenants, you know.
I know I've had calls from people who have never had an inspection. They may have been long-time renters in Philmont, and then suddenly they were getting calls that the Philmont wanted to
I know
inspect.
what you said. Anything else, Bill?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Bill.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Bill.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Good to see you folks again.
Does anybody at the table have anything want to bring on the board? I do. Sorry. So we have I can say in Clovis, we've had a situation that brewed up last, our planning board meeting. Two things that we have going on in the Commerce Park over there in Ghent. That part of it's Clovis, part of it's Ghent. We have one, we found out they had 3 house trailers in there living on the site. Had the band stage set up. They were going out. So our planning, so we went after that one. And the second one though that has an issue, and Rob was there, so I don't know if he said anything to you, Matt. See if this is gonna play out. We had a planning board meeting, and a gentleman over there is gonna put another warehouse up right past the tenting place. I think it is. He got it fixed up. So he came to our meeting, and by the rules, it was last year he applied for this. And because he didn't do anything till this year, the protocol says he has to come back to the planning board in the county before he comes up. With that, the man blew up. And the thing, he said, I don't care what anybody tells me. I got a building coming in 2 weeks. I'm putting a building up on the property, and you have no say over what I'm gonna do and why. That's how we left it. So my question is, I guess we're trying to figure out, is the county would be leading this, or would Clovis be leading this? Because it's a county commerce park, but yet it's in our town.
I would think Clovis would be lead. That's fine.
Thanks,
Rob? But that would be a question for the county attorney.
Right, and I didn't get a chance to see him today.
Because whatever permit it was issued by your code officer.
Right, by the town.
We understand that, but
So that would be
it's
the-
still I still,
Thank you, Bill.
it's still also a county thing, which we have a lot more weight in the county to maybe say it's gonna play out.
We don't issue any permits.
I know.
That's where the leverage is.
Yeah, it expires, I guess, after a year, and he has more stuff too, so it's like anything else. He's applying for something else, but he has to come back. So I don't know how this is gonna play out, we'll know.
But it should have just been a simple extension, right?
Should have. But he doesn't wanna go that way. So, anyway,
Well, he's thinking the neighbors are putting in mobile homes without any permission.
well, I know. Yeah.
Right, is that what he's thinking?
What else can go up there,
Right.
If anybody wants to go there on a Friday night, listen to the band they got playing. Go.
Okay, all right.
That's all I have. I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention. We'll see how this plays out. I'll let you know, see where it goes. Anybody else? Any motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
All right.
Good night. Thank you so much.
So what
I'd like to call the Public Works meeting for May to order. It's a nice night. Everybody'd like to get outside and do something. Apparently Donnell has someplace better to be, so.
Just want to make sure you had a quorum though.
Okay, I thank you for being here. I didn't get to your meeting last night, so I thank you.
2 votes, and that's good.
First we have highway. I was gonna call him Tony, but it's not even Tony. There you go.
Goes away.
Good for him. Hope he's someplace fun.
Hopefully Chris. All right, we had a lot of roadside sign maintenance, still taking apart a few trucks that were broke down that were left plows on and stuff in the shop. Sweeping the county roads and transfer stations, we're doing some sweeping on our back truck for the village of Wallachia and Chatham and the town of Kinderhook when it's up and running.
Is that a
Good
thank
luck.
you rental? Or is that your machine or is that a thank?
No, that's our machine. So, washing bridges, doing some airport mowing, cleaning ditches, driveway pipe installations, still a little bit of right of way cleanup. Ground some stumps. We're starting our patch group. Did some parking lot repairs at the Hudson Garage. And we repaired a catch basin on County Route 10 in Livingston, Lithgow to be exact. We're mowing the landfills. We're working on a concrete pad at the fire training center. We installed a cul-de-sac on the end of New Forge Road number 2 in the town of Taconic for County Bridge number 100. We did some culvert replacements and drainage work on County Route 29 in preparation of paving. Same thing on County Routes 21 and 21C in Ghent and Hillsdale. And some culvert replacements on County Route 19 right in the hamlet of Livingston. All right, personnel update. We have one senior MEO who's out on workman's comp. One employee is out on leave of absence. We hired one motor equipment operator one. We had one senior motor equipment operator resign. We had one MEO retire. And we had one MEO two that was terminated. And we also have one that's out on extended medical leave.
That's 6 out and 1 in. That's actually pretty good.
No, we can't keep it up at that rate.
You're gonna have trouble mowing the yards, but, you know.
Yeah, and one other thing.
Yeah.
All right, we closed out our most recent auction on May 5th. We brought in $7,786, of which $6,660 was highway equipment. And the only other thing, did you submit that thing? So let me see. I don't have a copy of it.
You know what, honey? Hold on.
Where all the auction items are broken down.
Right here, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I had the agendas instead of the whole kit and caboodle.
There it is.
That was the auction.
Yeah, that's the auction stuff. All right, then I have two resolutions. One is authorization to fill one vacant budget.
Second.
Sounds good.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
The other one is to fill one vacant budgeted motor equipment operator one.
Move it. Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
That's all I have.
So it's interesting to see what the machinery sells for. Did you ever go on the government surplus websites?
No, not
And they
that.
actually have what we spent on it and then what we sold.
You wanna know the best thing is?
Staggering.
The message board that was in better shape only went for $610. And the one that was total junk, they gave us $3,000 for.
Yeah.
Which one sold first?
What's that?
Which one sold first?
That I do not know. Assistance takes care of that.
Hey, Chris, a question for you.
Yep.
Have you noticed, are you getting a lot of trees dying along the way?
Yes, it has been for quite a while.
more, yeah.
A lot of
This year,
the,
we really get people.
the elms are pretty
The
much.
worst part is we're all where the power lines are, so you know, you got pretty.
No, we have a bunch hung up in communication lines too, and we can't touch those, and Verizon has no intention of doing anything with them. Consolidated, we have some luck with, but Verizon's tough.
Sometimes Verizon won't even acknowledge they're their wires.
No. I mean, if you ask them, like, you call them 20 times and they just.
What's killing the trees, Steve?
Yeah, the
There's a
ash.
fungus attacking the oaks too.
We lost a lot of oaks. We're losing, I mean, big oaks, big log oaks. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, we cut what we can, but a lot of them are just, we need the tree toppers and can only take so many, so we kind of prioritize the worst.
That's what we have to do, yeah. So once we can get.
Is what it is. Anybody else have any questions at all?
You did an amazing job. Phil.
Why, thank you.
Yep, thank you much. Tell Tony you did good.
We won't see Tony again.
Don't tell him until he comes back though, okay, up next we have solid waste. Wendy has show and tell, too. All right.
We released our household hazardous waste RFP, responses are due back June 5th. Garbage audits that I talked about last month took place in April and early May. Actually, overall, it looked pretty good. There was mostly county bags in the garbage, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
We do allow contractor bags at the stations. They're charged $8. I see that in the receipts that come into the office, so it looked pretty decent. And we are implementing a new recycling container loan program. That's what it looks like. This initiative aligns with the goals outlined in our local solid waste management plan. And we have some contract MOU type of material that's been reviewed and approved by the county attorney's office. So they've given us the green light to proceed. I'm going to roll it out in June, get it on our website. So basically what we have 15 of these. And it's for events, public or private. You can borrow them for a week. There will be a retainer for a deposit for in case it's broke. None of them gets broken or something like that. It will come with 2 bags, and basically it's for encouraging recycling at events
And the event sponsor is responsible for whatever they collect. And then they return the container and the lid to us after their event.
So I nailed for a couple of events this summer. Can try that.
Yeah, so we have a registration form, an MOU and like a contract all ready to go for that.
How much does one of those cost?
$77. Okay, on to employee updates. Our administrative office is celebrating the retirement of my senior. I know we say
I know
that.
you're celebrating.
I'm so happy for her, but
Right,
oh my
good for her,
goodness. She's retiring at the end of this month. I just want to shout out to her. We're so extremely grateful for all of her dedication and contributions to the solid waste department over the last 16 plus years. She has been a significant asset to the department and is going to be deeply missed. And I wish her the very best. She has been a wonderful asset for me specifically, moving in from deputy to the director position. And she's just been a great employee in the office. So we're going to miss her.
Can you mention her name or?
Am I allowed to? Yeah, Jennifer.
I'll find Jen.
Remind me to send over a certificate from this board of supervisors.
Okay.
We'll certainly pass on her thanks from this committee.
I will.
I know she's been very good. So,
She's,
you know.
yeah, I mean, just a huge asset to the department, and we're going to miss her a lot. With that, I'm going to be down a person. So it will be me and Shannon in the office, and that will be it until I can hire a replacement. So just be mindful of that our department's going to be really short-staffed until that position is filled. And I also have one part-time position employee that has resigned.
In the office or?
No, that's a laborer. Yep. And then we had our scale annual calibration today. This is just calibrating. It's not weights and measures. It was perfect on the dot again.
Awesome.
So that was awesome.
That's the maintenance you've been doing. See,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
we pressure washed before they got there just to make sure it was good. Yeah, I mean, spot on. There was not a weight deviation anywhere.
Took off all the preload.
So it was pretty awesome. Yeah. Those are our numbers. As you can see, we're increasing. Garbage, CUD, and rates are increasing.
So we're waking up after the bad winter, you know.
Yes. And then I have a couple of resolution requests. This one is authorization to fill that full-time senior account clerk.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
And then this one is to fill one budgeted account clerk.
Move it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
And then lastly, I'm asking for authorization to declare our old excavator that is now no longer, it's just not worth it to get fixed, to sell it off surplus and put in auction.
Move it.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Yeah,
Didn't last long, 2019.
no. That's just under 7,500 hours. I wanted to say miles again.
Yeah.
Well, 3,500 miles is a lot of miles.
Right, her excavator is well worth.
Yeah, they're using it as a car.
Yeah.
I have a question, or actually, Tara knows a little bit about this. We are, sorry, Tara, this is Wendy. Hi, Wendy. I'm the supervisor of Gallatin.
Nice to meet you.
We were at a meeting totally unrelated to any of this, and we're serving on this committee with multiple town entities for Pine Plains schools. And we were kind of approached by one of the Milan town board members, and he said, "I heard that your Gallatin solid waste is indefinitely closed." And I said, "Yes, that is true." And he said, "Well, we have some guys at the Milan station that want to pick up extra hours. And could you use that, station? Like, they want to actually open their Milan station a little bit longer." And he doesn't know the logistics yet, but
Perhaps maybe some of the people, especially in Gallatin, where that might be a little closer to them,
Yeah.
could potentially use the Mylan station. We haven't said anything, but I don't know if that's gonna negatively impact the Columbia County solid waste, if we've got people like going over to Mylan.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, we haven't said anything or done anything, but it was just an interesting development for like another town to reach out and say, hey, I've got some guys who want some extra hours at our place. It's fairly close to Gallatin.
They would like our business. but,
Yeah.
You know.
Rather than you having to go all the way to Copake or
Right, and we
Livingston.
have a lot of older residents and definitely, like, that is,
Yeah.
what, you know, gas prices so high, it's a lot of traffic, and it's definitely a burden on.
What's their fee schedule? Do you know that? How are they handling that?
So he wanted to look into that a little
Yeah.
better because obviously we're out of county, not town residents.
Right.
You know, I would assume that they would probably charge our residents a little bit more, but I don't know that.
Right.
I don't know yet, so.
Yeah.
Like, should I encourage?
Definite disclosure, right? So.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, it
I know,
would be
I know.
no different than if they decided to pick up a private hauler.
Right.
yeah, exactly.
We're losing the tonnage, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was my, concern that you would be losing the tonnage and, should I not work on this,
Yeah.
for that?
But if they're closer to it.
Yeah,
I
right.
can't-
I mean, we take out of county trash, right?
Okay.
We charge extra, more for out of county recycling. Like if you're gonna recycle, that's a different fee, but the garbage fee is the same whether you're in county or out of county.
Okay.
So that is, how Columbia County operates. But I understand, the residents' concerns, specifically because Copake and Livingston for some are really far away.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know how it all pans out.
Sure.
It wasn't really expected or anything.
And so we had a number of residents that bought the recycling passes from the town clerk. But if they're no longer able to get that train system closed, like, could they get a refund on that, or how does that work?
Well, that is a question that we would need to bring up at this committee.
And so I think,
Sorry, I don't know.
we can continue to talk about it, but it's not that they can't use them. If they choose to go someplace else, that's their choice,
Right, but they bought them before they knew that the transfer station was closed.
I get it. There's a reasonableness there, but I mean, my point is they can go to Livingston or Copake, so it's not like we went out of business and we can't use them at all.
Right.
That would be,
However, the expectation at the time.
I fully understand that,
Yeah, it
so,
does feel like, well, especially because they were told that it was reopening.
right?
And then it didn't reopen,
Yeah.
so that, that sort of, it's better to, just rip the Band-Aid off at some point. right?
We talked about that sometimes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I totally.
These are not easy decisions to make, but.
I have to sit there and listen to my constituents talk about it, and
Sure.
there's a lot of sadness about the transfer station closing, and really it's a social thing, people like to go to the dumpster.
It's huge. It's huge. In our tiny
Yeah.
town, we barely have a cafe. So
We don't have it.
Going to the dump is
You
it,
see
huh?
everyone at the dump. It's
Yeah,
great.
right.
A coffee hour.
Yeah.
Coffee or at the dump. No, I don't know.
Just back for your coffee.
Really, people, that's where news travels, is at the dump.
That's true.
And I don't know the mileage as well as you folks do, but I mean, if you had a resident that was much closer to, if you could offer them a service, I mean, not you, but I mean, if they could go to the Dutchess County, transfer station and they're a lot closer in mileage, I could see the reasonableness in the request to just put a blanket thing out to get, we would refund it, and
Yeah. no,
I
it's true.
hesitate on that, but you get my,
I just,
that's my thought, right? Just
Right.
quickly off the cuff here, but.
I don't suggest we let tourism know about your little fit down.
I also would just err on the side of caution as far as talking about it, because I was under the assumption that Dutchess County only takes Dutchess County.
I don't know.
So
They
yeah.
did take out the county, but then they changed during COVID. I'm pretty sure.
and it was
Like,
just in
and
county.
now it's just in county,
Yeah,
but
right.
Mylan is like the business, like
Right,
their station is not utilized.
Right, they just have a
Yeah.
small transfer station, not transfer, but a
Can we
convenience
rent our
station there.
station to them?
They don't want that.
Shared services across the county lines.
Seriously, no, I agree, but they don't.
Maybe the best thing would be just to see, have them send you a proposal and then you can evaluate whether it works or not.
Yeah.
And don't frame it for them. See how they frame it.
Sounds like a
Excellent
great
point.
idea.
Didn't you close Gallatin because it wasn't really being utilized?
Right.
Good tough discussion.
So that's my point, there's not an awful lot of I don't think that there's, it's not like we're turning away millions of customers, but I get from your folks that they were. So where were they going? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep us informed,
How's your digester doing?
Okay. That's running.
Would you mind if I put some of your byproduct on display at our town hall for our green cones?
No, that's totally fine. We have it at the station already, but we can provide you with a bucket of it if you want.
Well, I grabbed the bucket, but got yelled at, but I made away with a quantity, a good enough quantity for display.
why you have to dress up
Where did you
like
grab the bucket?
Greenport.
Did you grab one of our buckets or just?
No, I
take-
had a little grain bag with me and I
Oh.
just scooped it.
And then he was running away.
Did you like?
One
put
of
it
those
over your
cantankerous
shoulder?
retirees that I keep talking.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why you
Was that
dressed up.
how you
Yeah.
dressed up and all of these?
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
apologize if you were scolded, but, I mean.
On the other hand, that somebody was doing their job though.
Keep shoveling, but.
I mean, was there a reason why? Was it because they thought you were taking too much of it?
I don't know. I don't even think they could see the receptacle I was putting it in.
So they were were you taking it from the wrong part? Where were you taking it from? Were you taking it?
You're taking the wrong
Display
garbage.
Oh, in the tote. So I don't know what that is. And if you tell me what day it was, I'll go back on the camera and find it.
Oh, I can tell you who it is.
Oh, perfect.
Just
You
kidding.
can-
We'll keep it anonymous.
Right.
I think you should look into it.
Yeah.
I got my camera. We get a fine here.
Yeah. I did forget one thing. I got an email just before I just put out while I was walking in here. Some of you will remember and some won't know this, but our Greenport transfer station permit expired August of 2025. In February of 2025, Ray and I worked and got the paperwork submitted to the state. And they just today sent me the approval and the permit for the
Right.
Greenport. So we are good to go for another 10. Yeah,
I know that didn't come painlessly, so.
it did not. It was a lot of work.
She did almost all the work as far as that permit application.
When she went into panic, she called Ray, but she did all the work, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, she's done a great job putting it together.
Well, good, thank you,
Yeah,
Wendy.
so it's good. We're good now. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I really just
All
got.
right, any other questions for solid waste? If not, we'll move on
We did
to,
our Chatham spring cleanup last weekend and it was fantastic. Your driver stopped and held where
Yeah.
it was. It was Bob, I think his name was. but
Yeah.
He did fantastic. And the event was great. So thank you again.
I do want to talk to you after the meeting if you're still.
they
here.
certainly did a great job helping us too, but we just sent in way too much tonnage and I got a big bill for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this year we got a lot of metal scrap, but not the break.
Yeah, no.
We help offset that.
They didn't break, the check didn't help, though, that's for sure.
Too many of the scrappers around.
All right, Ray is up next with engineering.
Just a quick item on a lighter note, from Highway. So last week, Highway had gone up to New Lebanon School District. They had, the winner as far as the snowplow naming contest, and the name was the Big Laplowski. So, digital literacy period number 3, generally speaking, 7th graders. So they had an opportunity of taking a photo, with the truck.
Did you drive it?
No, they got a chance to jump into the seat,
Okay,
honk the horn. Kids got a big thrill out of it. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, they really enjoyed it. And they also got a sign that was prepared by the sign shop, awarding them the naming of the truck as well. So it was a lot of fun. I think everybody had a good time with it, including Highway as a whole, and the school appreciated it. So we hope we're going to continue with that program. So just a lighter note, I think. Bridges. County Route 7 over the Punza Creek. So permit application has been submitted to the DEC. and the Army Corps of Engineers. We are waiting feedback from them. But in the meantime, we did submit our formal submittal package to New York State DOT as far as the design report. We're hoping not to get too much pushback. We anticipate utilizing the existing abutments and just replacing the superstructure. But again, part of that may be dictated by Army Corps of Engineers and DEC. Rossman Road Bridge, submittal package was been reviewed by SHPO, no further comments, and so they're forwarding it off to the Federal Highway Administration. And then once we receive any information back from them as far as comments, the draft design report will be submitted to Department of Transportation. The environmental assessment regarding endangered species has also been received and signed off by the Federal Highway Administration.
Does that include the cultural impact on the trail too, that they were trying to analyze? Is that part of this?
Yes,
SHPO?
that is part of that SHPO
Okay.
review. And again, they didn't have any issues, and so Federal Highway Administration will.
We lost the construction season to it, though.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was delayed, although not as delayed as Cope.
Right.
Buckwheat Road Bridge, project informational meeting was held at the town of Claremont Town Hall on May 4th. 16 members of the public, in addition to the town board members, were in attendance. Presentation review the project. Reviewing the project was provided by the consultants, and they were there to answer any questions. So all comments are required to be in writing, since again, that project is a Bridge New York project, federally funded. We need to have documentation regarding any and all comments and submit them into the New York State Department of Transportation. We also had a meeting in the town of Livingston. There were 4 members, I believe, that were attended that meeting as well. So period ends May 29th as far as the comment period. Once that's completed, we'll compile that information and then submit that along with a anticipated design report to the New York State Department of Transportation. Right now, schedule, depending upon what the review time is and what the right-of-way acquisition timeframe is going to be, may push us perhaps into 2028. We'd like to start it in 2027, but if review times extend beyond May and we go out to bid, that means we wouldn't be able to start the project until perhaps July, August. Means we would go through 2 construction seasons. We'd rather have it just during one construction season where we can start it early in the spring and get it completed by November.
Right.
But we'll see how that moves forward.
Ray, I just wanted to publicly thank you and the consultants for the work on this bridge. I know, you guys worked very closely with some of the comments we submitted, and there's a nice compromise, I believe, made by keeping the bridge on a little bit of an angle and sidewalk and some speed signs. So I want to thank you. Appreciate the work you did on this.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to have that meeting back in March with the town and get some initial feedback, and we'll see what feedback we get from the general public and see if there's anything else that we can do to tweak that project a little further. So that way it meets everyone's goals, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mill Hill, all the work was completed on May 8th, so that bridge is now open as far as both lanes. We were just utilizing one lane because we were waiting for some additional pavement and retaining wall removal and so forth, but that work is now completed and it's open without any restriction.
Gallatin residents, thank you.
Yeah, I think everybody's been happy. I mean, it was a long time. That was one of those projects that extended beyond just the one construction season. That's why we're trying to
Yes,
avoid that.
yes,
but
and our clerk and our assessor live on that.
Yeah.
road, So it has definitely been very.
Yeah, we hope that there's a better peace of mind knowing that they have that new structure there. as
They are
far as-
very happy,
Yeah,
very happy. with
that's
the
great.
paving, it's all good.
Good, thank you. Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, so the visual impact report was reviewed by New York State DOT, so that's, again, we had our consultants go out with their team and go to various buildings within the proximity of the bridge and then see what the view shed impact potentially would be as far as that bridge changing. So they identified that area. That's what's known as an APE, according to New York State Department of Transportation. That's the area of potential, effect.
Right.
Okay. So we've provided that information to DOT and also, SHPO. Once SHPO, and other parties agree to the 8th, then the architectural survey for any unevaluated properties greater than 50 years old will need to be performed. So again, I know there's been evaluations that have been performed in the past based on the designation.
I was gonna say, is it larger than the designated area?
It's slightly larger, and it included a couple extra parcels. Okay. Yeah, so the question will be whether DOT, SHPO, and/or Federal Highway Administration wants us to do a visual impact on those. Okay, or as far as evaluation.
Yes. Haven't heard anything from them, so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you whether,
no.
I have not seen any correspondence, so obviously they haven't sent it out to those other
Yeah, right.
parties. The design of the bridge repair, to reopen the bridge to 12 tons is underway and is expected to be complete by the end of June. As far as that design, once, that design is done, we'll go ahead and put that out to bid for construction. So again, the goal would be that all the improvements would be completed in the fall and we'd be able to open that up before the winter. County roads, County Route 7A. So we've, scheduled a proposed, public hearing set for June 27th. Kelly, I'll provide you a formal notice so that way we can place it onto the county website. And this is regarding, not only a public informational meeting regarding an update on the project as a whole, but more importantly, it starts us moving forward as far as our right-of-way acquisition process. And so it'll be, we're already sending correspondences out to the 16 properties that will be impacted. And when we indicate impact, it's one of a few items. It could be an actual taking where we're actually physically making improvements. So we need to obtain additional right-of-way. There may be easements as far as construction easements, or there may be drainage easements or some other type of easement that has to take place. So that will be taking place on the 27th. Notices will be going out to those impacted property owners, but we'll also be putting it into the paper on the county website and conducting that on a Saturday of June 27th. We'll be able to gauge at that point what our next steps would be as far as whether, hopefully, people understand the taking. We'll be engaging, appraisers to actually do a formal appraisal. And hopefully if we can come to consensus with the property owners, we can move forward. If we do not, we may need to go to eminent domain. That's always the last resort. We don't want to go there if we don't have to. County Route 29, that's the guide rail replacement project on Schoolcroft Road. So those initiation documents have been submitted to DOT. County Route 9 stabilization. County has been working on the design with the consultants on the preliminary design. Right now, they anticipate that we should get that preliminary package as far as the design first week of June. So once we do that, they'll be able to move forward and still get us into completing construction during the winter months. We have identified the fact that we will need to obtain some easements from the property owners. Good thing is that there was some work done in that general area in the past, several years ago. And so same property owners still own the property. They had provided easements in the past. So we hope that that's going to continue to be an easy process to allow us access onto those properties.
It's just construction easements, right?
Those are just construction easements. That is correct. At least at this point, that's what they anticipate.
Right.
11 Warren Street, other engineering activities. 11 Warren Street. So finishes continue to be installed by the general contractor. Right now, all the contractors anticipate that they'll be done and completed by the second week of June. Right now, the contractors are just finishing up items. The furniture was delivered. They're in the process of assembling those units. We actually conducted a very brief site visit today with Supervisor Knott and Supervisor Adams just to take a walk through, but it's coming along really well. So if all goes well, we've been having discussions with those departments that are moving into that location. Tentatively, we would anticipate working with the probation department first, then public defenders and conflict defenders, and then ultimately Board of Election. Board of Elections being last just because of the current election cycle as far as the primaries that are taking place. And we recognize we don't want to disrupt that in any way, shape, or form. So they would probably be the last ones, and that would probably be in the July timeframe. One of the big items we're still waiting for before we can meet some of these timeframes is we're waiting on fiber into the building. There's been a delay as far as actually getting that fiber in, but all of the infrastructure inside the building is there. So,
And the facade.
so regarding the facade, we've been working with the architects on precedent boards to discuss the renderings and so forth. Copies of that should have been provided and was provided actually as far as your package. So we have set a meeting for Tuesday, the 9th. I checked with Kelly. We plan on having that here at 4:01. So the format for that particular meeting, it's going to be a town hall workshop type form, similar to what we did in Claremont. So there'll be a brief presentation regarding the proposal, which is the exterior, some of the background regarding that. But then we're going to break it down where individuals will have the ability of going through some of the information that was provided, but we'll also have formal renderings as well, where people would be able to critique those, provide feedback and input, even if it's regarding components, whether it's feedback on the entirety of the improvement or proposed improvement as far as the 3 different options that we're looking at, or whether there be certain components of certain items that they like or dislike. So that way we'll be able to do a survey. So we'll be utilizing QR codes and some different things there for feedback from the general public, even if they're not able to actually make those meetings. So one of the things for the committee tonight is that obviously it's a meeting that I'm holding on behalf of the county. While we encourage all of the supervisors to attend that, they don't have to. But I don't see this as a county supervisors meeting, okay? I just see it as a public informational meeting. What I was proposing to do is to provide information, place it into the paper, place it onto our website. I know that there's some other methodologies that one of the city supervisors wants to utilize as far as other methods, which is fine. So we'll provide that information to them. But we would encourage at least folks stopping in if they have the opportunity. This will be one of 2 meetings that we'll be having. This is the first one. And then the second one we're going to be having actually down next to the site, down at the Chamber of Commerce building. And that'll be taking place in July.
And for those of you who don't know, Ray and I have had a couple meetings with the architect firm that's doing this, but Alexandria from the city of Hudson has been part of that. And so we've kept her in the loop so that she can share that information with the Hudson City supervisors right away as well. So once Ray gets this out there, then she will be helping to share it with everybody.
And my apologies, I mentioned the fact that we had this information available to the committee members, a copy of the presentation that was provided in the town of Claremont regarding buckwheat. That was also part of your package as well, if you were interested. 610 State Street, again, as part of the Warren Street project as a whole, we had meetings with the departments regarding 610 and coordinating the consolidation, archiving, and then the future move. So we continue to work with those departments. Probation has been phenomenal as far as the amount of paperwork that they've been able to consolidate. In some instances, shredding based on the guidelines as far as fire retention and so forth, that they have been able to shred and get rid of some of the materials, which will be a lot easier for facilities once we get to our actual move. So rather than moving it twice, all right, we're trying to get rid of it at this time. So again,
I think they're very excited to go from their old building to this new one too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So over the next week, I have a meeting set up with the conflict defender's office. I think tentatively that's for next Wednesday to walk them through the building in their space and their office space. Hopefully their office space will be not completed, but as far as furniture, but a good portion of that furniture will be done. But then we'll do the same thing with probation and public defender's office primarily. So that way they'll be able to identify where each staff member is going to be situated, so that way we can plan for the move as far as marking boxes for that particular room and helping out facilities when we get to that point.
You know, Ray, I don't know if we want to wait till we're formally open or if it's better to try and do it, but I'd like to try and have a night where all the supervisors are welcome to stop down and see the place. You know, if we kind of had an open, tour down there quickly, for this committee, but invite anybody, just to do a walkthrough, but I know it's still a little bit of a construction site, but as they get it cleaned up here, and before we actually move everybody in, maybe it's better to do it before they move in. Do you think, sir?
So we could do it, again, it's up to the supervisors and the committee. So the full board meets on June 10th, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So perhaps we can do something late in the afternoon before caucus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, it may not be 100% complete, but
Right.
it should be.
Like
It'll
a
be,
5 o'clock or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
People have interest in that. I think it's really an amazing facility. I don't know if some of you have never seen the building before we did all the renovation to it, but it's a very nice facility and I'd like everybody to know about it. So, yeah, let's tentatively talk about that.
Okay. And then Kelly can send something out to the supervisors if they
Right.
want.
Not mandatory, but
But it'll be available.
Yep.
Ray, do we have a target date or we have a goal of when to completely be out of 600?
A good part of that'll be when we're able to move a lot of materials out of the basement, honestly. So it's not so much on the actual move of our staff members. But in addition to public defender and probation, we have county clerk that has files in the basement area. We have emergency services.
Historian.
They have files, and the biggest one, quite honestly, right now is historian. The historian has quite a bit of material down in the basement, but I also recognize that right now is his busiest time that he's probably ever had based on the 250th.
And Mary Howell stored things in there for 30 years.
Yeah. So honestly, but keep in mind, that doesn't stop us from putting it onto the market. Getting an appraisal, number one, putting it onto the market perhaps, as far as that process, which I know the county attorney is working with Mike Tucker. So it's not,
that's where I was getting.
it's not stopping
Right.
us. So I've already had a walkthrough with Mike Tucker, and he's gone through the entire facility as far as that's concerned. And I know he's been in contact with, Robert Simmons, the county attorney, regarding the process of how to get that onto the line.
We've deemed it surplus, is my understanding, and we just, probably contract with CPDC to actually, they will contract with an agent, a realtor basically, to market it.
We've been wanting to get rid of that thing for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
How long have I been here?
We see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I know
How far it
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Well, part of the refuge in that sale is already spoken for, if I remember during budget conversation.
Well, my intention is that we would use that to not borrow all the money we needed for 11 Warren Street, but how it all flows out, but yes. It's not like it's found money, because trust me, if we spent 5 million down there and we got a $500,000 over there, we have to bond less, that's all.
Yeah, I left the mechanics as far as how that would take place
Right.
up to Mike Tucker as well as county attorney. Sewer district, there's been a brief delay in the power shutdown from NICEAG regarding the new pumps installation on Granite Native Drive, but that being said, it now is rescheduled for the week of the 26th. And they actually think that they can get in and out of there within that same week. It would be fantastic. So it'll be a very limited shutdown. County airport, just as a follow-up, I know all the supervisors saw all those resolutions that went through. I appreciate everybody, working with me. It was a last minute item. We had to have all the bids in, so we got final numbers, but then we also had a deadline of May 15th that the applications had to be in. So it was a very tight window. So, in total, I can tell you, it was just over $2 million that was requested based on those resolutions. I appreciate everyone's assistance in that, on those 5 projects. Resolution request. So have one for public safety vehicle gate replacement. So this is the sliding vehicle gate and operator at the public safety building located on Industrial Track Drive. The problem with that is, again, it's been many, many years. There's been issues with the foundations of the posts and frost heaving, which has caused the entire fence to rack, which has been detrimental to the operator as well as the gate itself, its bearings. So we're looking to replace the entire.
Move it. Second. Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
And the second item is execute a consultant agreement with Passero Associates in the amount of $180,500 for construction observation up at the airport regarding the automated weather observation system.
It costs us $4,500 or something.
Yeah,
Yes, not a bad deal.
we had a motion, do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? And keep those 5% project, that was 2.5%, I like that better, yeah.
This is, yeah, so this will be the last of the 2.5%. They're going
Okay.
back to the 5%.
And,
But still at 5%.
hey, we got done what we got done, right?
Well, we haven't built a luxury hotel off that airport.
I know, Craig is there, no, he's ready. You know?
That's his goal.
All right, any other questions for Ray? We'll move on to facilities.
We got other questions.
Wait, it's really more of a reminder. I know that we're slogging away at 401, but I think we have $412,000 in CBC funds that need to be obligated. We're coming up against a deadline, so just want to keep that front center.
Yeah, I know, a big part of that gets back into number one, what we can utilize those funds for.
Right, they're limited.
They are limited, correct. And so we really need to see what.
Can we use them elsewhere?
Yeah,
We were kind of targeting them for this building,
but that's
but
the reason I'm putting a pin in it, because we're coming up against a deadline.
Can you extend it, Ray?
I don't think so.
No, there are,
It's easy.
it's a yeah.
Should we equip our highway guys with Tesla trucks?
No,
no.
that'd be a hard no.
I think they're cheaper right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they
I
are.
bet you they are, yeah.
A lot of electric vehicles have gotten cheaper.
Unless you wanted to detour around the big detour around the highway.
But all kidding aside, I will say that from our clean energy investments, Commissioner Gibson last night spoke of how satisfied he was with all the work that's happened at the DSS building and how reliable and effective the system is. So I wanted to pass that on.
Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, again, the monies that we've received through that program and others have been very beneficial to the county on not only that building, but obviously the DMV building is another one. And it would have been nice to invest it into this building, but I believe that we're pretty far gone. That's my, but to your point, yes, we need to make some decisions.
That was another project that I did kind of want to get everybody over to see that. And I know, you know, not all of you are into seeing, heating and air conditioning equipment the way I am, but that was a very nice project, you know. And some very nice work that got done. Not only was the whole project designed well, but then the work was executed very well. So it's a good project and it should be a good addition to that building, but that building was worth investing in.
Yeah, and even in this, you know, one of the more problematic issues with this particular building is the heating system, and unfortunately it's fossil fuels. But for us to make the transition would be going to all electric, which means major improvements on electrical supply coming into the facility. And so although there's 400,000 plus available, it's a drop in the bucket of what we would actually have to spend. Exactly.
I know. It's
We just got a quote on geothermal wells for our highway garage. It's like 800,000.
Geothermal for a highway garage?
They're funding that.
No, they are. It's not a question of funding. Yeah, it's not a question of fund.
It's just the 12 wells you have to drill to take the load.
Yes. And the recovery, especially with a highway garage, the recovery, once you open up those garage doors.
How many tons do you need for that?
Okay. Yeah, they are funding.
Proposal.
Okay.
Because they don't understand the technology that's actually caught up with air-to-air equipment today. You know, you can get all the same efficiency rates, but NYSERDA just only recognizes the geothermal words. That's you know, I'm telling you that's the truth right now. But you could buy that same technology if you just looked at SEER ratings or you know, heat pump efficiency ratings. You could do all that with other equipment, but you can't get the same tax break and funding you can from.
Correct.
But the public department's looking at it for the same reason that, fire companies are, fire companies want the warm floors for their tires. So I don't know if that help, if that's part of the equation in the.
Well, the warm floors are good, but
Aren't they gonna get the warm tires?
I was telling you what I heard the other night, the fire company.
radiant heat's radiant heat. It's how you
Still
get-
radiant heat, yeah.
Right.
No,
All right.
they work on the trucks, they want to be nice and warm on that.
Right.
It'll be concrete.
Thanks.
Brian's got no resolution.
Time is catching up to me.
That's all that costs.
Took me 2 days to do.
Monday was a killer.
Yeah.
As Ray did touch on it, that gate though, it's been nothing but a nightmare the past couple of years. So.
It's very much relied on by emergency services, so.
Yeah, it's actually down right now. We could barely budget. That's how, I think every bearing is shot on it right now. So, I put a call in to get them back. They even put a heavier trolleys on it. They couldn't put all on because the posts actually separated so much. So that's why, like I said, they gotta redo it from scratch. Because like I said, it's been the last couple of years, it's just been, the frost is just ridiculous. We've had to resort to, you can go on and look at the sensors, they're actually tipped like this aiming down. We had to do all new sensors just to keep it going, so. So it's definitely, it's time. Let's see here, 325, we've done a lot of moving and helping out with the IRC, several shred days, pretty much every Wednesday is a shred day. Let's see here, courthouse, we made some, repaired the steps again. This hopefully will hold them all this time. It's just gonna be an issue coming up we're gonna have to discuss though. The bluestone keeps popping. We just can't keep them. So we actually screwed them down. We countersunk them, screwed them down. So maybe in the future, there could be a project coming up for that.
It's been an issue since we put them in.
Yeah, I seem to remember talking about this. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
Put them off at least 3 times and put them back even the.
We had them done under warranty,
Put
right?
them back.
Yeah.
I think 2013 or 14, we had it done under warranty. And,
It's been just like every, this was the last one. I finally said, screw them all down. Let's see here. DSS, they've had us do a couple office swaps. We're doing little small renos there. Basically, we've been at 11 Warren quite a bit. We're pretty much all set with the fire. I'm just waiting for final confirmation with the test. But now we're just on the door fob. So we can't really do much. We're going to start installing everything, and then we're waiting, like I said, we're waiting on fiber and the internet to come on.
let me just catch you on that, Brian. I was out there today and Ray did point out that all the good work that your team has done on the Cat 5 wire, Cat 6 wiring out there. So how many miles of Cat 6 are out there? You have a rough idea? I mean, it's a phenomenal amount of wire.
Yeah, the electrician did a lot of it too. We ran a bunch too, but yeah, those ceilings are packed.
Yeah. That's technology today,
Yeah.
but it's all needed.
No, the building's totally different just in the last week and a half. If you would have went there 2 weeks ago, you'd been like, they're in trouble. But it came together pretty quick. Highway, had to do some electric upgrade to a panel for future air conditioning.
I got a question while we skip over soil and water. You mentioned in a previous report, you put some patching in there.
They should have, yeah.
I don't think they did, so if
No.
you could get a chance.
Okay. All right.
So like you'll see it when you turn in the soil.
Turn in
and
right
water,
there. There's always a spot right there.
There's a couple nasty ones, and on the egress when you're leaving to get on 66, it's rough.
Okay.
It could really use.
All right, yeah, because I know they were out there doing that, and the airport had a bunch of them, so they were supposed to do them. I'll double check. I'll let them know. Too much. It's pretty much it right now. The normal maintenance, getting back to mowing lawns, and we're cleaning air conditioning units.
I was gonna say, you probably heard some people about air conditioners installed and
Yeah.
fired up.
Well, 610 is just a nightmare. It just doesn't want to give up. you
Yeah.
know, every week there's something different, you know, so. Yeah, I know, that's what I keep saying, so.
Mine's gonna-
It is, I mean, that thing just doesn't want to give every week, the elevator's not working, luckily it was, the guy hit a switch, so thank God that was a quick one, but the air conditioner, of course, you know, they don't want to work, I'm just limp them along, please, do whatever you can. 2
We'll see,
months.
Ray, you're not the only one wondering when it's gonna happen.
Oh, I
Brian's right ahead of you.
I can't wait. Every time I look, I'm like, 2 more months.
Hey, questions for Mr. McDonald? Questions from the audience, public, anybody had anything?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion second, all in favor? Thank you very much, folks.